Welcome to another episode of the podcast that we do probably weekly. अब तो like अब जितने ज़्यादा एपिसोड हो सकते हैं उतने बनाते हैं. Welcome back to the IFF1 podcast और ये है प्री रेस जेडा कॉर्निश से पहले. We have just gathered. We are talking about maybe predictions. Let's see what happens in Jeddah because Bahrain, we all know how it went. Red Bull just took everybody by surprise. Aston Martin took everybody by surprise. Mercedes still struggling. Ferrari, well, it's Ferrari. And yeah,
हाँ
बाकी जो midfield है, it's very interesting. And McLaren, I don't want to talk about them. So yeah, let's get everybody's views on क्या चल रहा है, what they think is going to happen in Jeddah, and how the race is going to go. SJ, over to you.
Yeah, quite interesting. Recently I heard that Saudi Airlines has tied up with Aston Martin, so some more friends following Aston Martin, they are kicking it up. फर्नांडो अलोंसो, उसके बारे में कुछ तारीफ कम पड़ती है उसके बारे में, बंदे के बारे में, मतलब
The Chad.
he is now become हाँ he's now become this is his 20th season and he is the highest.
Yep.
There is nobody above him. 20th is the far most season that anybody has attended. But yes, they have developed the car very good. It's probably the season for them right now, you know. So I'm hoping, like, I'm not putting my money being a Tifosi on Ferrari this time around, but I'm counting on Aston Martin to beat Red Bull this time around.
All right. What are your views, Vedant? क्या सोचा है, क्या होगा जेडा में?
यार इवन दो आई एम अ मर्सिडीज सपोर्टर बट मुझे तो लग रहा था कि फास्टर स्पीड सर्किट है, फेरारी फाइनली कुछ कर लेगी विदाउट फकिंग अप, बट ऑलरेडी लग को पेनल्टी लग चुकी है. तो आई डोंट नो. एंड
Oh yeah.
मर्सिडीज का डाउनफोर्स थोड़ा कम है. तो अगेन इवन दो फास्टर कॉर्नर्स हैं, बट आई थिंक वहां पे कुछ तो फकअप होगा. आई एम रियली होपिंग यार. अगेन दे हैव, मतलब might be controversial और ठीक है arguable answer है, but Russell in my opinion is the best driver on the grid right now because again he's competing with Lewis Hamilton the head on. Okay, I understand कि last season में वो जीता था because Hamilton was developing the car half season में, but
Yep.
still
Yep.
like again Russell, Lewis Hamilton all time great. तो इतने amazing drivers हैं Mercedes के पास, just because उनका downforce थोड़ा कम है. Maybe they're developing the car. अभी तो नहीं आएगी I'm sure, बट कुछ डेवलपमेंट्स होंगे तो बेटर रेस होगी. फेरारी को पेनल्टी लगी हुई है. रेड बुल अगेन माइट जस्ट विन इट इजीली, बट आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग क्लोज कंपटीशन बिटवीन फेरारी एंड मर्सिडीज एटलीस्ट एंड एस्टन मार्टिन. सो लाइक टॉप 3 में रेड बुल को हटा के दीज 3 गोना कम्पीट वेरी क्लोजली. एंड एक चीज है जिसके बारे में ना ज्यादा लोग बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. लास्ट रेस में लॉगिन सार्जेंट की वाज द फर्स्ट रेस इन विलियम्स. आई अंडरस्टैंड विलियम्स ने बेटर कार बनाई है सीजन में हैंड्स डाउन, बट
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Albon मतलब 12th है वो अपनी फर्स्ट रेस में इन अ विलियम्स एंड नो वन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इट. आई डोंट नो व्हाई. मतलब इट्स अ प्रीटी बिग अचीवमेंट इन माय ओपिनियन, बट
Okay. So Williams, basically last time हमने discuss किया था what would have happened, what our bets were, our मतलब I think my and SJ's bets were कि they got more development time, wind tunnel time उनको ज़्यादा मिला, CFD time ज़्यादा मिला, so I guess
that
that
was
would
the
have
whole
contributed.
purpose ना. मतलब पूरा
Yeah, yeah.
पर्पस ही यही था कि जो लास्ट आएगा उसको ज्यादा टाइम मिलेगा. तो अगेन इट्स अ ग्रेट थिंग, बट अगेन देन देयर इज मैक्लेरन जो आई थिंक लास्ट सीजन में 5th आई थी, if I'm not wrong.
They've just fucked up. Let's just
उनको भी बहुत
overall agree that.
टाइम मिला.
Ferrari fan हो, Mercedes fan हो, कोई भी fan हो, we all agree. McLaren,
मैक्लेरन
man,
कौन रहा.
man, it's just so sad to see that. It's just bad.
अभी तो
Yeah,
काफी खराब लग
we'll
रहा
we'll
होगा.
move
अभी
ahead.
इज अ हार्डकोर मैक्लेरन फैन.
Yeah, we'll move ahead. Krishanu, what's your thoughts? What do you think? क्या you're also a Mercedes fan, right? तो कैसा लग रहा है heartbreak?
Mercedes, that it's not a heartbreak sort of situation right now. And before Jeddah, like in Bahrain also, when they came out of testing from day one, the car was looking pointy. It was responding well to the setups and all, but they had their second day, which was a bit of up and down. After that, the final day just went like everybody would have expected. And then for Red Bull to find that sweet spot of their car, so I have noted a couple of things कि Red Bull में भी setup का थोड़ा सा issue अभी भी चालू है, because that car takes time to find its setup window. Aston Martin is a big
Agreed.
surprise. But my bet on Aston Martin is कि they should be able to keep up with their development rate because they are certainly new to the to the top echelon of F1. But
Yep.
being a midfield team, they don't have that experience, front running experience like all the big three teams have. So my bet will be कि if they sort out their development, then well and good because they already have a very good race team. Their strategies are
Yeah.
well to the mark. And coming to Ferrari, I seriously don't have any words. They
बोलते ही
just
हंसी निकल गई, बोलते ही हंसी निकल गई, बोले मैं क्या बोलूं
they,
इसमें अब.
how could they bottle a year where they had more downforce than the Red Bull, equal straight line speed advantage to the
Better
Red Bull,
now, I
and
think it was a better car because maybe so I am into sim racing a lot, and I generally whenever I played F1 offline against the AI, I always picked Ferrari. It's more nimble. The car has more. It's
the car was actually pointy because I also had the opportunity to play with the F1, the current generation of cars, and on F122, one of my friends owns the game.
okay.
So he
Okay.
had all that crazy setup and all. So I just found that the car doesn't have any weak points, but their race strategies are so off the mark. Like
Oh man, that's
just they just show themselves that they are a rookie team trying to compete at the top just because they have the budget. And then coming to Mercedes, well, Vedant said everything already. Like they have the most balanced driver pairing, I must say, because
yep.
with Lewis you have got experience, with George you have got the youth and the raw speed which he has, and his technical knowledge is very much sound. I must say. And let's not forget one thing: they are eight-time constructors champion. So they just out of the blue, they didn't forget to build a fast race car. They just got a concept wrong, and they just need to rectify that. Although it would have been a better thing if they did did try to sort that out in the winter. But I
Mm.
think they went bold. But one more thing I found surprisingly, 2020 Red Bull and this year's Mercedes both represented a similar side pod concept. In
Yeah.
2020, the Red Bull
Yeah.
was also very equal with the zero side pod because it hardly had any side pods,
Yeah. That was
and
almost like they were
almost
going for a
identical.
high rake car, right? That's why I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mercedes tried that in 2022 because, but the main thing was कि simulation में जो दिखा, it didn't correlate to the real world data.
That's the
They
only
are
point.
just
That's the only
accessing
point.
that they are just accessing that theoretical downforce, and that car is turning out to be on a knife edge at all times. But
Yeah, the
apart,
problem with the problem with Mercedes right now is as it's very well established कि Aston Martin, if the people who don't know, they're using Mercedes powertrains.
they are
Everything
using
basically
a
they're
complete, no, they are using the full rear end of the
yeah,
Mercedes
yeah.
car.
Yeah.
So full rear end of the Mercedes car, the engine of the Mercedes car, which really establishes कि Mercedes की गाड़ी में aerodynamics problem है, which is basically their side pod
Exactly,
thing. It's not
exactly.
their front wing. They I don't think that front wings and okay rear wing does help, front wing does help in aerodynamics, लेकिन side pod अगर तुम पूरा एक गाड़ी का एक सेक्शन लेके उसको खराब कर दोगे then the car won't work. That's it. Now the point
Actually,
is कि they will be discontinuing the side pod thing, right? They said it कि ये हमारा concept ही खराब है, but अब क्या करें,
Yeah.
right?
एक छोटा सा सटल अपग्रेड आ रहा है इमोला में where there will be some cosmetic changes, but
Yes.
I have noticed one thing during the pre-season testing that flow is paint. A comparison of Red Bull and Mercedes was there,
Oh
where
yuck,
the Red
yes,
Bull's flow is paint was completely showing around the bodywork and it was working as they had expected it to be.
intended, yeah,
But
yep,
the
yep, yep.
Mercedes, it was not actually flowing through the car. And people say that the side pod is not correlated to the performance, but I think in these ground effect cars, if
Mm.
you want to work the underflows correctly, then you have to have an optimum side pod concept because the
Of
more
course, of
bulgier
course.
side pods you have, the more the airflow will be structured to the diffusers and all.
To the middle of the car,
Because
and yeah, that's the point. So my point is कि we know कि Mercedes अचानक से साल के बीच में they can't abandon their whole aerodynamics,
exactly,
right? I think they will carry this on to the end of the year because that's when like the testing period is at the all-time high, the winter testing, and maybe then they'll go for a better aerodynamic car by the end
I
of
must add one thing
2022,
here.
if that makes sense.
I must add one thing here. They
Mhm.
may be changing the bodywork concept during the season, because it's not like the pre cost cap era, like you can throw millions and millions of dollars and just bring a B spec car to the race
I
3 or
get the
race 4.
point. I get the point. Lekin my point is ki I don't think they're aiming to change the whole. Like this is my prediction ki Mercedes will continue the side podless thing to the end. Maybe they'll bring major changes, cool, but the car still like their concept remains the same. My thing is with Jeddah. क्योंकि हम लोग प्री रेस की बात करें, थोड़ा जेडा की बात करते हैं. It's a high speed circuit, right? There are two
It has very
basically
flowing
low
corners.
speed corners. Yeah, two low speed corners है. वो भी एक है जो the last corner and the first corner, first two corners.
Yeah.
So I think this kind of circuit will really help Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin to some point. But here's the thing, okay, it will still be tough to catch up to Red Bull क्योंकि वो 1 सेकंड का गैप बहुत होता है. Even though the car won't work fine, सर्किट उनके हिसाब से नहीं, बट गाड़ी तो फिर भी अच्छी है. एनीवेज द पॉइंट इज कि मर्सिडीज लो स्पीड कॉर्नर्स में जस्ट क्या मार खाती है वो गाड़ी. फरारी ऑल्सो लो स्पीड कॉर्नर्स इज द प्रॉब्लम. हाई स्पीड में वी नो फरारी का जो लास्ट ईयर का स्पीड था. कांट हियर यू. एक और बार.
हाई स्पीड कॉर्नर्स में मर्सिडीज को
Yeah.
पकड़ना मुश्किल है. That's the main thing.
Exactly. It's just कि I want to see Jeddah to be a more closer fight in the top 4 cars. That's what I want to see. I might not get it क्योंकि Red Bull is still good. So let's see what happens.
this-
What are your thoughts?
Red
What
Bull
do you
is
predict?
awesome.
Yeah.
Red Bull is awesome.
No question.
Here एक छोटी सी बात मैं ऐड करूंगा. Because of the ATR restrictions put on Red Bull, अगर it was already expected कि Red Bull will hold a 0.5 second advantage to the rest of the field for the at least for the first half of the season, because the
Mhm.
regulations are stable and the teams will take some time catching up to the top teams, right? So Red Bull had their concept sorted last season. They have a good race team, so they will not remain stationary, right? They will move on with their developments and all. But we all know how good Mercedes is also with developing their cars, because
Yeah.
Ferrari can bottle it, but Aston, Mercedes, I really hope that they do up their game, because Mercedes को development में पकड़ना is very
Also
hard, I must
about
say.
Aston Martin, मैं बोलते मैं अपना पॉइंट भूल गया था. क्रिस्टियानो ने बोला कि Aston Martin doesn't know the ways of the winning फिलहाल. They are still new to the being the top team.
Yeah.
I would try to tell you कि if you see Aston Martin for the last 3 years, they've been leeching every good engineer out of every other team, right? उन्होंने
Point.
रेड बुल से आधी टीम उठा ली, उन्होंने मर्सिडीज से कुछ लोग उठाए. They said they're combining a good team. I do see them as contenders this year actually. Although I know there's a lot of catching up to do still.
Yeah.
लेकिन it's just, by the way, मैंने एक all this aside, मैंने एक बहुत ही crazy fact पढ़ा. I think हमारे ग्रुप में किसी ने डाला था. By the way, if you are not already in it, links हैं WhatsApp ग्रुप के भी, go check that out. मैंने पढ़ा था, किसी ने लिखा कि Red Bull are so good right now कि Verstappen can win every race to the half time of the season. Basically 12 या 13 races he could win everything, and he could win the season as early as the Dutch Grand Prix. Now the next part is crazy because he can take a vacation for the next half of the season, and Daniel Ricciardo can fill in and still come third in the drivers championship. Can you imagine
That's
having
how good-
3 drivers in the top 3 where only 2 drivers are
That's like-
allowed?
That's like we're talking about Ferrari, what it was in early 2000,
2000.
in 2002, 2003,
That's
2004.
the kind of domination.
Probably what Red Bull was in early in 2013
10s, yeah.
or 2011, yeah. And
And what
Mercedes, which was in maybe around
2016.
15, 16, 17.
15, 16, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 2014. Because 2014
we-
car was a
14 and 15 both, yeah. But उसके बाद
Correct.
फिर Ferrari was catching up.
Mercedes
Red
फैन
Bull
गुस्सा
caught up.
होते हुए.
Correct.
Mercedes फैन के सामने तुम लोग ऐसा कैसे बोल सकते हो?
See, it's basically, you know what? It's like a free flowing thing. The teams who are behind do catch up. Okay, Krishanu said that they are right now, Ferrari are lagging behind right now only in terms of strategy. What we saw last year, they had a very good car. They fall out because of bad reliability and some bad strategy calls. Okay,
Yeah.
let's be honest. There was no issue with the drivers. There was no issue with the car as such. The whole concept wise I'm talking about.
Yep,
When
yep.
you talk about reliability, of course, car का issue तो होगा ही. ठीक है. Even this year, we are just into the second race. Okay, let's not throw the entire season out of the box right now. Okay, let's not forget, like I repeated this last time around as well. Uh, First race there was a double DNF for Red Bull.
The
Still, they
curse.
won
Yes,
both the
yes, yes.
championships. Correct. Third race in Australia, again Max Verstappen was a DNF. Everybody ruled out Red Bull to bahar hai. Nobody can catch Ferrari. But eventually, what happened, we all know. Okay. So it is just a second race of the season. It's a long season, 23 races, and out of which we have just finished one. And this weekend we are going to have a second. So it's a long race, long season. Yes, having a penalty at the start of the season is very bad. It is like you're already on the back foot. Now you're some more 10-15 places behind. Completely agree with that thought process. But then we all have expertise. They all have very good engineers. They just need to have trust, belief, and I think they can at least make it a good fight to Red Bull and place somewhere good in the championship. Is my call for Ferrari. For Mercedes, I believe what we all have summed up is all good. They have lots of money to throw into the development. They can do it. How soon they can do it is the real question. Because remember, Hamilton wants a winning car. If he
By
will not
next
get
year,
it
by the way.
Mercedes, yeah. If he does not get it at Mercedes, he will look for somewhere else.
Yep.
Hamilton joining any team is an asset, despite of his age. Okay, and Fernando is already proving us wrong in terms of age. Okay, gone are
Exactly.
the days where driver used to retire at 34, 35. You know,
एक मिनट क्या एज
where
हैव यू सीन both of them? They look like they're in their late 20s, guys. It's just
exactly
bizarre.
Yeah.
They
what
don't
Even even
age.
even
Absolutely fit.
Vettel.
right, right. So age is just a number nowadays. Okay, even if at 40 Hamilton wants to sign up at some good team and he can win races for them, anybody will take him. That's not a challenge.
Yep, yep.
So it's just putting the right things at the right place and they can win it. Any team.
Yeah,
And
so
by the way,
last year,
Aston Martin has winning experience. They have a race win under the belt with Checo.
Yeah,
yep, yep,
So let's
yep.
exactly.
not forget that.
Racing
Racing point.
They
Point.
know how
Racing
to
Point
be
was
at the
good,
top.
dude. And they know how to copy cars. Let's not forget that. The pink Mercedes. Anyway, so the point is, last year, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Last year, I also ruled out Red Bull starting my season ke, but my eye opener was actually the Belgian race because
Oh my
that
God.
guy in one lap overtook what like कितने कार उसने 6 कार ओवरटेक किए थे राइट पहले लैप में
Sure.
एंड आई वाज लाइक ब्रो ये तो अभी ये अनफेयर है अभी मतलब मिडफील्ड क्या बोले अभी इसमें क्या जा तू भाई तेरा रेस अलग चल रहा है हमसे एंड दैट वाज लाइक द आई ओपनर वेयर आई थॉट कि ओके मे बी फरारी विल फक अप दिस सीजन बिकॉज तब तक फरारी भी मिस्टेक कर रहा था बहुत दे वर रेड बुल वाज ऑलरेडी कैचिंग अप बाय the third or the fourth race and France was like the breaking point for the driver and the team too. So yeah, I hope ki this is just man, I know Red Bull and the car deserve the win, but Ferrari, the fans actually deserve more than the team. I would say क्योंकि everybody you can't lose when you have a good car, right? Bad car ठीक है अभी तक समझ रहे थे हम कि regulations तुम्हारा साथ नहीं दे रहे थे, you weren't able to make a good car. When you were able to make a good car, ठीक है, the conditions weren't right, your car wasn't good in wet when Vettel was almost gonna win, right? And it's just sad to see so many fans disappointed of probably one of the most followed teams in the whole sport. It's
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's
Like
it's
people say,
sad.
Formula One is Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah, Formula One Ferrari,
Great
Forza
car.
Ferrari. क्या मतलब it's a chant, man. People love the team,
Really.
and there's history attached to it. ऐसा नहीं कि बिना बात का look like Vettel said, everybody's a Ferrari fan. ठीक है
Right.
Even the Mercedes drivers, you ask them, they are the Ferrari fans. ठीक है?
Exactly.
It's not easy to live up to the legacy, and Ferrari has been failing for a long time. I just wish कुछ नहीं तो 6 रेसेस जीत जाओ, कुछ तो करो, थोड़ा सा दो ना अपने फैंस को.
You know, in the 70s, 80s, they took almost 12 years to win the championship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bad years have been
Jody
there.
Scheckter, Jody Scheckter was the last one to win the championship. Then the another championship came in 2000.
Oh man, SJ flexing
Michael
his
Schumacher.
knowledge of.
And then the domination started. There was no looking back
Right,
after that.
right,
Yeah,
Like Schumacher was winning races here and right and left. हर चीज जीत रहा था.
correct.
yeah.
Like
So,
driving
so
for Ferrari is just put into perspective. Like you're a Ferrari driver and you are riding a whole of Italy's hopes on your shoulder. Because
Italy,
we all know
bro.
how
Every motorsport fan.
exactly. Because just imagine how mad the Italian media are because they scrutinize
Yeah.
each and every move Ferrari makes. So just imagine the pressure they are undergoing. And I
I
just
mean,
feel bad for
yeah,
them.
I think they're just cracking under pressure. It's almost like, oh, by the way, this reminds me, a great analogy for Ferrari is last to last year when Verstappen cracked under pressure in the quali, and like one of the best laps in the history of Formula One qualifying
21.
was, yeah, it was
2020
just
Jeddah.
the last corner, man. It was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
that
Best
one
section
lap,
to
man.
mad
I
that
see it. अभी goosebumps आ रहे हैं. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, अभी
हाँ,
goosebumps आ
same,
रहे हैं. It's
same.
so
It
good.
was such
It
a
was so
like
good, bro.
perfect lap कोई होता है lap होता
And
है, that was it.
हाँ,
But वो
and
एकदम
I mean,
crash कर गया.
I
yeah.
was supporting Hamilton at that time, but when I was seeing Max go like that, I was seeing
हाँ.
that perfect synergy between man and machine.
Yep.
And when he just snapped the rear wheel, na, I was like,
Oh,
Plus
कितना
मतलब
रिएक्शन
like
वीडियो
और
देखा
उस टाइम एक
इसका.
और चीज थी कि सीजन ऑलरेडी थोड़ा लेट स्टार्ट हुआ था एंड लाइक
exactly.
सेकंड आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग में रेस थी फर्स्ट 3-4 रेस में एंड लाइक से बैक टू बैक पर्पल सेक्टर्स कर रहा था वो लाइक इवन मिनी सेक्टर्स जो होते हैं ऑल पर्पल
Man, it
एंड
was so
लाइक सबको
good.
लगा कि यार ही इज गोना टेक द पोल
वो लैप देख के लगा था कि वर्ल्ड चैंपियन बन जाएगा, ये बनेगा.
डिजर्व्स इट
ये तो बन सकता
Let's
है यार.
not talk
मतलब
about
क्या
the
गाड़ी को.
2021.
Oh
but
yeah,
but
बेचारे.
he screwed it up.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the only one time I've seen Max Verstappen as a driver crack under pressure. That's the only time. I've seen a lot of drivers crack under pressure.
Yeah,
That was
Leclerc does
probably
that a
once.
lot. चलो fuck science, science की बात ही नहीं करते. Leclerc के पास winning mindset है, but again, just because he
Pressure,
doesn't have a
yes.
lot of wins, वो pressure ले जाता है, stress ले जाता है क्योंकि Verstappen के लिए first आना can be normal. Leclerc के लिए बहुत बड़ी चीज है अभी के लिए because उसके पास उतनी wins नहीं है because of the car he is in.
Also, the
तो
second,
कितनी बार होता है that someone is chasing him like right on his gearbox और 5-6 laps अगर या 7-8 laps अगर chase हो गया वो कुछ ना कुछ तो fuck up कर देता है. And then again, someone else take the lead.
also the
साइंस
second
तो
thing is,
साइंस को तो
Making
3
room
लाख
for a
होते हैं,
change.
3 लाख में कर लेगा वो.
the second thing is Verstappen के बारे में like if we thinking the crack under pressure वाली बात है तो I think Monza could be also considered that when उसने गाड़ी चढ़ाई थी Lewis Hamilton ने बोला इसको मार ही दूंगा आज मैं. But I think that was more like desperation. I think that was more like desperation over that. Like he was desperate for that position. In that position, I think that wasn't cracking under pressure.
उसका पिट स्टॉप खराब हो गया था. So he wanted
Yeah.
कि नहीं मेरे को I need to make it up for it.
Yep.
And
Pit
then
stop
he's like
खराब हो
not
गया
giving.
था. Mercedes had the pace in Monza.
Yeah.
And secondly, like it was like Max कि Lewis मेरे सर में घुस चुका है. I just want to beat this guy so bad. And that full 2021 season didn't need Drive to Survive, to be honest.
नहीं,
Yeah,
चाहिए
it
नहीं
was
था,
all
चाहिए नहीं
about
था.
them.
वो पूरा सीजन ही ड्राइव टू सर्वाइव था.
That's it, full drama.
पूरा. And the Toto
But
और
that is
Christian का जो bromance जो था.
Oh,
but that
oof.
is what makes it interesting. You know, two different teams fighting out for the first position.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you call it a proper pattern.
Racing.
You know, see within the team, if you are talking about fighting for the championship, it's probably very easy. You can say so. I mean, it's not easy, of course. It's a difficult job to do. But when you are in the same box, you know what strategy I need to make, what I don't need to do. You know, your do's and don'ts are very clear, basically. But when you're fighting with another team, that's where you know what separates from boys to men. I would say like that. You know
Hmm.
how to do it, when to do it, all those kind of things. So that is why 2021 was a very good season. Okay, we expected the same after 2022, but unfortunately, we didn't have that. Let's see what 2023 gives us. You know, the starting is
Let's
very
say
good. We are we are
2021
getting into
called
Jeddah.
us.
Yeah.
We are getting into Jeddah, the second race. Okay, high speed race. Let's hope for the best.
Alright, तो let's come back to the topic. बहुत देर से हम लोग सब इधर उधर deviate हो गए. Before we deviate a lot, let's refocus ourselves. So Jeddah, the practices start tomorrow. Actually today because edit करने में time जाएगा. तो the practices start and it's a high speed circuit like we all said. High speed corners है ही नहीं यार, वो सीधा सीधा सर्किट बनाया उन लोगों ने. And what do you think? Which teams are going to actually benefit a lot from this? Do you think Mercedes can actually take a podium? Do you think that?
I'll go out on a limb and say yes, because that
Yeah,
car
it's
is good
about
on its tires.
Yep.
That
If
ये
car
वो
is
अंदर
good.
की ये तो अगर कल नहीं जीत, मेरे को लग रहा है ये संडे को नहीं जीते तो वेदांत और कृष्णानु तो रोएंगे, बोलेंगे भाई हो गया
अरे
हमारा.
नहीं
नहीं, it's
नहीं,
not so.
I want like good racing to be honest. मर्सिडीज ना जीते,
Of
8
course,
साल
of
जीते
course.
हैं हम यार, इट्स फाइन, गुड हो
हाँ भाई हो गया. अभी अभी अपने आपको ऐसे ही दिलासा देनी पड़ती है. ब्रो मेरा तो
आए
सोच, मैं
बस
तो
बोरिंग रेसेस ना हो जाए.
guys, Williams stopped winning races even before I was born. Understand मेरा pain because मैं तो Williams fan.
बट नहीं, रिमेम्बर जब
Right.
मासा और बोटास थे 2012 के
Oh
अराउंड,
yeah,
बहुत
that
अच्छी
was
कार
a good
वापस आ
one.
गई थी उस टाइम पे ना,
That was a good. That
मार्टिन
was a
वाली.
good.
एनीवे,
14.
कमिंग बैक टू जेडा.
Yeah, SJ,
Yeah.
what
They
do you
peaked
think?
during 2014-15
Yep,
last.
yep. SJ, what do you think?
Yeah.
क्या
So
है इस बार का?
I think second and third के लिए Aston Martin and Ferrari will fight out. Mercedes, if not the third, fourth best team. Red
Alright,
Bull
okay, guys.
first.
हाँ, मतलब
No
we are
no
talking
change in
about
that.
both the cars combined for every team, right? Like total in the
Yeah,
standings.
yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
cool, cool. Vedant, what do you think? What is your prediction?
Yeah, of course. To start with, I want Mercedes to be on podium, but there are realistic chance to be on the podium because अभी तक 2 रेसेस हुई हैं वहां पे, और हर रेस में वर्चुअल सेफ्टी कार और सेफ्टी कार आई है, तो बहुत आई थिंक इस बार भी होने वाला है. आई एग्री कि हाँ, 2 कॉर्नर्स उन्होंने चेंज कर दिए हैं, गैप ज्यादा दे दिए हैं, सेफ्टी बढ़ गई है, क्रैशेस के चांसेस कम हो गए हैं, बट स्टिल आई बिलीव सेफ्टी कार तो आएगी, और उस चक्कर में मर्सिडीज कैन अगेन लिव अप टू द स्ट्रेटजी एंड जस्ट प्ले समथिंग आउट अकॉर्डिंगली. And Ferrari maybe something like they'll do something. But yeah,
They will do something and just lose.
very realistic chance कि Mercedes को podium का.
What do you think, Krishanu? क्या सीन है? क्या लग रहा है इस बार?
See, as a team, Red Bull is untouchable right now. Although मैंने जैसे पिछले पॉइंट में कहा था, कार का सेटअप का थोड़ा सा इशू चालू है, so they may take some time to find the sweet balance of the car on that circuit. And Red Bull, in my opinion, जब से the race has started in 2021, Red Bull को थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, so I'll still say कि Red Bull will have a very good shot at winning.
Of course.
But again, only one data set we have from Bahrain, so we can't just say anything about it. रही बात फरारी की, they seem on realistic terms they seem to be closest to challenge Red Bull right now, because that car is only capable of taking the fight to Red Bull on paper. रही बात Aston Martin की, so I am just placing my order like Red Bull, Ferrari, and Aston and Mercedes might be very much equal pegging terms, because the circuit has very fast sweeping corners, slow corners बहुत कम है, and the Mercedes concept works well in flowing corners. If you have noticed last year,
Yep.
that car works well in flowing corners, and to be very honest, they don't have that bouncing problem which they had last year. So the car's performance window is
Agreed.
not so much limited.
Agreed.
That is
So
not limited.
yeah, here's one thing that I want to say. So basically हमने टॉप ऑर्डर की तो बात कर ली. Let's talk about midfield. बैक मार्कर की बात नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज वर्चुअली इस साल कोई बैक मार्कर है नहीं देखा जाए तो.
Exactly.
I do want to talk about the midfield क्योंकि बहुत अनएक्सपेक्टेड चीज़ें हो रही है एज वी ऑल नो. मिडफील्ड में कुछ भी चल रहा है. विलियम्स मिडफील्ड में एक्चुअली compete कर रही है अच्छे से.
Yeah.
Main question which I have about McLaren of course is Oscar Piastri as good as he's supposed to be? Now F2 F3 champion really nahi. I think
Yeah.
is that right?
F2,
Yeah, F2
F3.
F3
Yeah, it's right. It's right. In
consecutive
his first
champion,
season.
right? या सो
Rookie
माई
champion.
पॉइंट इज कि अगर उसका जो विंडोज अपडेट शुरू हो गया था लास्ट रेस में उसके गाड़ी में, तो अगर वो नहीं होता तो would he have been somewhere around the top 10 or like the middle order?
Okay, so
I
Norris, we all know, is a very good driver.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, team and cars matter a lot when it comes to winning. मतलब all the driver has to do is to beat his or her teammate constantly. So we know कि हाँ, that is a better driver. That's a good driver. But again, Norris बहुत like again one of the capable drivers in the grid. उसको उसके close पहुंच पा रहा है वो, तो again he's like a pretty good driver. But again, let's not discount the fact that he's racing in his first season. He's very young, the youngest on the grid.
Also a
So
bad
to say,
car.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. No? So the competitor that he has is Norris. Let's not look at the top 10 or the points finishes. Norris is his competitor, and I feel ki even if he finishes below Norris towards the end of the season, it's gonna be a very close finish, and he's gonna develop as the year progresses. And next season is when we really need to see him where he goes. In my opinion, yes, he's a pretty good driver. You just need to adjust according
Okay.
to the car, and yeah, next season maybe he'll just smash Norris.
I I agree with Vedant. He's very close to the point. थोड़ा सा disagree करूंगा मैं यहाँ पे.
Hmm.
Technically, what we have heard from McLaren is that they have somewhat goofed up with the full philosophy of the car, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not going that as strong as what they were supposed to be. The way last season Renault and McLaren were fighting for Oscar Piastri, that itself proves that both of them wanted him because they think that he's the guy to go forward with. Young, passionate, energetic, F2 F3 champion. Of course, he's a fast driver as well. Given a good car, he can win races and championship as well. Okay. McLaren and Alpine both wanted to be in front. But I'm not going to talk about McLaren. You're talking about midfield. So, what I want to see is a good competition between Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Alpha Tauri. These three teams, I think, and Williams, four. The way they performed in Bahrain, I think these four would be very good, close neck to neck. I am not sure about Alpha Tauri. How will they be placed? Nick De Vries, of course, he's an F2 champion, FE champion, good fast driver, has a lot of potential as well, but I'm not sure about that car, you know. So
Yeah.
for me, that is a turn off for both Alpha Tauri and McLaren. Their
But what
cars,
about
not up to
Alpine?
the mark.
What about Alpine? Alpine can be strong. We can't discount him.
Alpine, during the testing, they ran the car very low on performance. Like they didn't turn up the car's engine modes and they didn't try it out like every team
Mm-hmm.
did. Because
Yeah.
and they were just keeping a very low profile. And during
Yes.
testing, you need to test everything in your car. If it's working in fast conditions, if it is working slowly, if it is working on outlaps, if it is performing well in the quali, they have given you 3 full days of testing so that you can judge your machine, you can hone your machine to the liking of your way.
Would it mean
And
that they're
they made a
confident?
mistake. Huh? Sorry?
Wouldn't
Or
that mean that they're
overconfident.
confident?
Or overconfident.
Yeah,
They
I
were
mean,
during
it's
the
F1. If you're
testing times,
overconfident,
like
then well.
after the testing ended, there was a lot of chatter that Alpine is not trying out the car to the full potential. Maybe they are
Exactly.
very confident. And again, जब खत्म हुई थी, Ocon and Gasly both said that they are pretty happy with the testing, how it went out. Again, वो
Oh.
media जैसे भी उन्होंने tackle किया.
I thought
Yeah, there was
Ocon
a
and
lot of
Gasly said
chatter.
they're pretty happy with each other, which is just not happening. मेरे को देख एक बार तो देख रहे हो लास्ट ईयर जो जेडा में किया था ना अलोंसो और ओकॉन ने, वैसा मेरे को इन दोनों के बीच देखना, फिर देख रहे ये लोग गाड़ी से निकल के एक दूसरे को मारेंगे क्या, क्योंकि वो हो जाता है उन दोनों के बीच में.
तो
बोले
फ्रेंच
तू
में गालियां
कैसे
देंगे.
No, but
No,
to be
the way I'm sorry to interrupt,
Italian.
but the way
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Gasly pushed his car from the back of the grid in the points in Bahrain was
Yeah.
really awesome. which proves
That
Gasly
shows
has
the
a
car has
lot of
potential.
talent. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
And the drivers are also pretty fast. We all know that.
yeah.
So if you ask me, the fifth best team right now is Alpine on the grid.
But you did not even mention during the midfield discussion.
अरे तो
But then they
मिडफील्ड
are
में नहीं
not a
काउंट हुआ ना फिर
midfield
वो
team, na? So
They are
एग्जैक्टली
not
दे आर
midfield में
midfield.
नहीं
ट्राइंग टू
count होता है
compete
ना.
trying to
They
compete
are
with the
trying to
Midfield,
compete for the
for
wins.
fourth yeah they're trying to compete for
okay.
fourth so I guess I guess
But his
so
top three midfield back markers
या सो
isn't
ये
like
हमें
that.
पता है कि हर साल यही होता है कि द टॉप 3 टीम्स गो लाइक वे बियॉन्ड 150 200 पॉइंट्स और जो अगली 2 या 3 टीम होती है दे आर लाइक वेरी क्लोज इन पॉइंट्स
हाँ,
दैट्स
वो
दैट्स
बेस्ट
जनरली
बैटल
व्हाट
होती है in my
हैपेंस
opinion. Like वो बैटल
अग्रीड
बेस्ट
बहुत
होती
मजा आता है लास्ट ईयर जो मैक्लारेन एल्पिन का लास्ट रेस तक
है.
गया
Yes,
था
last race में भी हुआ
दैट
था
वाज
वो.
नाइस ऑल्सो जस्ट वांना ऐड इन हियर हम एक टीम को भारी भारी डिस्काउंट कर रहे हैं विच इज़ विलियम्स हमने देखा कि उनकी कार तो फास्ट है ड्राइवर्स अच्छे मिले हैं आई नो इट्स नॉट द इट कांट बी द बेस्ट कार ऑफ कोर्स ऐसे दे आर नॉट एस्टन मार्टिन एट द मोमेंट लेकिन द अमाउंट ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट फ्रॉम लास्ट ईयर इवन इन ड्राइवर्स लतीफ़ी को बाहर करना इन एनी सिनेरियो इज़ अ गुड थिंग नहीं मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ ही इज़ अ गुड ड्राइवर ही इज़ जस्ट
Go TP.
मैं अपने आप को एक ऐसे कॉर्नर पे शव कर दिया अभी मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता एनीवेज द पॉइंट इज़ कि दे हैव गुड ड्राइवर्स दे हैव गुड कार्स दिस ईयर तो व्हाट डू यू थिंक एंड व्हाई डू यू थिंक दे विल विन अ जीपी
They will take time to win the GP.
या
Yeah.
Okay, maybe couple of years more down the line, they will be there on the top, standing on top of the podium, hopefully. But it will take another couple of seasons for them, yes. And let's see where they go because they already have a Mercedes engine. They are good at the development which is happening in the car. Plus, with James joining in, he brings in that experience from Mercedes again, from that knowledge
Winning mindset.
of
Winning mindset.
winning mindset. Correct. That is all required. So let's hope for the best. Okay. These people who are there shuffling around are some of the best people in the town, in the motorsport.
yep
So they will come. Plus now, they don't have to worry about the finances. They have a good backing up in terms of finance as well. So development will not be a problem. Okay. So again, two young, very good drivers. So that's again a plus plus for them. We already saw Williams in Bahrain finished in points. Logan was 12th. So they're already showing signs of very, very good improvement. Okay. So expect a podium from them very soon.
Yeah, there's a chatter around कि सबको लगा था 2022 शुरू होएगा and close racing शुरू हो जाएगी, which of course did not happen. To be honest, realistic expectations नहीं थी वो. But again, this has happened all the time. अगर कुछ new regulations आती है ना, तो उसमें 2-3-4 साल लगते हैं, and then the field gets closer and closer. So this time
Exactly.
the whole purpose was कि every team needs to get closer. ज़्यादा twin tunnel time, etc. budget caps का allocation जो भी, all of it combined, I think by we finish 2024 season, 2025 is when we'll actually see a lot of the teams like अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं कोई बैक मार्कर नहीं है, मे बी तब तक हो कि टॉप 3 आर नॉट टॉप 3 anymore, टॉप 5 हो गए हो तब तक, और देन देयर इज टॉप 5 लास्ट 5. तो विलियम्स मे बी कैन गैम्बल ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम एंड गेट अ पोडियम हियर एंड देयर.
यार ऐसा है ना कि मैं एफ आई ए की ना सब उड़ाते ठीक है सब लोग लेते हैं एफ आई ए की लेकिन I would give props to FIA in the fact कि they have promoted from 2023 the regulations have really promoted close racing not only in car aerodynamics लेकिन just in general the way budget cap is to be handled the way wind tunnel times basically if you are higher up in the order you get lesser time so that जो नीचे वाली teams हैं उनको सब ज़्यादा time मिलेगा तो they'll of course develop a better car. It's just FIA does a lot of shit wrong but ये एक चीज़ उन्होंने अच्छा किया है this I can be on board with FIA तो yeah it's
Agreed.
just sometimes FIA भी सोचते हैं कि चलो कुछ तो ऐसा कर देते हैं जिससे फैंस को एक्चुअली मजा आए तो that's the point.
Actually, the
That's good.
new ground effect regulations were developed in collaboration with F1 because I remember Ross Brawn and Nick Tombazis were on the panel. For
Oh I didn't know this.
Yes. Ross Brawn helped develop this ground effect aero regulations.
Oh
He was a main architect.
nice. That's
Yes.
cool. That's nice trivia. ये मेरे को सच में नहीं पता था. Cool. I
Exactly.
mean,
Seriously?
You can search it up in Google.
झूठ थोड़ी बोलेगा वो.
तो मैं सही बात कर रहा हूँ.
नहीं,
Come
मुझे
on,
सच
वो
में
तो
नहीं
मेरे को
पता.
मालूम है
मुझे
सच बोल रहा
मुझे
है.
नहीं पता. मुझे नहीं पता. सच में नहीं पता रॉस ब्रॉन का. I didn't know.
So Ross Brawn
मैंने हाँ.
was the brain behind all these rules and regulations जो
Oh.
2022 वगैरह में जो start हुआ था. Like Krishanu, just standing up to what he's saying,
हम्म.
he is the architect behind all these things, and और उसको इसके लिए लाया था because the way he looked up that loophole which was there in 2009, correct? And that was a particular
Yeah.
point, like how he has helped Ferrari, how he has
Yep.
helped McLaren, how he has helped Benetton, how he brought up his own team, Braun GP, and how he has architected
Fun है.
the Mercedes development
Exactly.
in 2010, 11, 12. So that all those, he has a very good resume, yaar, as
हाँ.
a
Yes.
chief technical
Agreed.
officer.
Bro, कुछ
So
लोग है ना,
he,
कुछ minds है which are in
हाँ,
F1 which are just like सब लोग पसंद करते हैं. There's nobody who disrespects him. Adrian Newey, Ross Brawn,
Ross
let's
Brawn.
I mean until
uh,
last year Mattia Binotto
James
was
Allison
very
also.
respected. Yeah. So it's
he's
just like कि
James Allison.
कुछ जो ऐसे टेक्निकल डायरेक्टर्स इंजीनियर्स हैं टीम्स में
Hmm.
that are well known, like they are well known than a lot of drivers, you understand, like that's the amount of technical detail that goes into making that car.
Correct.
That's just
These people are highly respected.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. One more thing from the management side, I must say कि F1 में everybody say कि stability is the key to success. Like
Mm-hmm.
हम देख रहे हैं कि Red Bull is winning races, Mercedes is winning races. In the past decades, these two teams have been the pioneer
Same
of success.
principle.
So, like we saw during the starting of the season, कि कितने सारे team principal transfers हुए and how much of a management war was going on between each and every team, I must say.
Mhm.
So, my point here is कि one key success for Red Bull and Mercedes winning races is कि they have that autonomy which no other team can have because we all know कि boardroom politics कितना चलता है
Of course, yeah.
corporate teams में.
Yeah.
Like the manufacturers like Alpine, it is being controlled by the French.
Yeah.
कि Renault का French headquarters वहां से बता रही क्या करना है and they are doing like that. So that is the limiting factor behind Renault. On the true contrary, Mercedes is a manufacturer. It is a listed manufacturer, but the team is partly owned by Mercedes. 1/3 is owned by Mercedes, then Ineos
Yeah,
and
man.
Toto Wolff. Like
Yeah.
that also Red Bull में Christian Horner is the CEO of Red Bull Technologies, the wider group which manages the racing team also.
Mhm.
So I am saying कि the Ferrari जब जीत नहीं रहा था, everybody was blaming Binotto, but the decisions were coming from Ferrari boardroom. So Binotto didn't have that autonomy which Christian Horner and Toto Wolff have right now.
यार
And
आई गेट इट, लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स लाइक लुक आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि कंप्लीटली बिनोटो की गलती है, क्योंकि अगर कंप्लीटली बिनोटो की गलती होती तो वैसे और आते ये लोग फर्स्ट आने लगते, राइट? दैट्स नॉट द
and as a
इशू. देयर
technical
आर
mind,
a lot of things that
See,
go into making a
sorry.
disaster. Yeah.
So I would just want to add to Krishanu's point. See, you get stability when you are winning.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to
Agreed.
break the
भारी agreed.
winning combination.
Definitely.
Correct? It is when you are losing, when you are just on the brisk of winning and don't cross that line, is where you want to change it. Okay? Everybody just humbles around and what is good? अरे ये करूंगा तो अच्छा है, अरे ये लाओ, अरे ये करो, वो करो तो शायद हो जाएगा. That is where the changes happen. Okay? And that is where, sometimes the things go wrong and sometimes, it clicks and it sticks.
Yep.
ठीक है? So only the winning combination, sticking with the winning combination is not the only thing. Even if you see, when Mercedes were not Mercedes, were Braun, uh, this when the Mercedes took up the team in 2010, they were nothing. Then Toto
Midfield.
Wolff came in, then
Yep.
Niki Lauda came in, uh, James came in. These
I'm
people
sorry.
came, these people
Yeah.
started to build a team around them. So it's like you have to build a team around yourself. Only then you will start winning.
You know, the
Be it
last 2
drivers.
minutes, The last 2
Drivers are
minutes
also
showed
an
कि
integral part.
the last 2 minutes showed कि मैं सबसे ज़्यादा छोटा हूँ यहाँ पे because I just laughed on Niki Lauda. I'm sorry. Anyways, the I'm sorry. I can't. Dude,
हर्षित
नहीं होता
हर्षित एक
control.
मूवी है
नहीं होता.
रश प्लीज वॉच द मूवी
Okay.
Rush.
ओके
Rush.
रश इज
Have I seen this
या
movie? Wait. I'm gonna have to
pretty
check.
popular जेम्स हंट एंड निकी लाउडा का राइवलरी है एकदम क्रॉस
Oh
द
yeah,
थाउजेंड
yeah.
टाइप्स है
यार नहीं ये मूवी ना मैंने क्लिप्स में देख लिया टोटली. Do
प्लीज
you
ये मूवी
understand
देखो
मतलब
बहुत
हाँ.
अच्छी मूवी है
Okay, cool.
One of the most
I'll check
iconic
that out.
rivalries of Formula One brought back to life in
यस
Hollywood.
अरे ये वही है क्या जिसमें वो
Correct.
फरारी को बोलता है इट्स अ शिट बॉक्स ऐसे कुछ बोल देता है ना गाड़ी को तो
हाँ
उसको
फिर वो
निकाल
खुद
देता है.
बनाता है लाइक देन ही डेवलप्स इट
हाँ.
हिमसेल्फ
Oh, right. Okay, cool. I've heard about this movie. Anyways, moving on from Nikki.
lads. Coming back to Jeddah, Harshit,
Yeah.
talking about close racing. Sorry, थोड़ा सा F1 से divert हो गया. I'm going to Formula 2. Formula 2 में इतनी सारी regulations वगैरह नहीं है क्योंकि like all the cars are more or less
Same.
the same.
Yeah.
Strategies and engine का कैसे tuning हो रखी है वो सब different होता है. But that is what actually promotes closer racing. F1 में नहीं आ सकता because of multiple reasons कि R&D होता है, tech होता है, etc. But F2 में actually closer racing होती है. And when it comes to Jeddah जहाँ पे हाँ, exactly पैसा. So when it actually comes to closer racing, F2 and fastest street circuit is where you need to watch. Like बहुत interesting races
Bro,
होती है Formula 2.
F2 में actually मजा आता है. So I wasn't
Yeah.
following F2 like I followed F1. Of course, I don't think anyone follows F2 like they follow F1 if they are like in general motorsport fan. लेकिन F2 मैं so this is the first year where I thought कि मैंने F1 TV लिया. I'll use the full F1 TV thing. ठीक है तो मैं सारे
Yeah,
रेसेस
yeah,
देखूंगा
yeah.
सारे
हाँ,
प्रैक्टिस
मतलब
देखूंगा मैं
6
पैसे
सेटअप
दे रहा
लगा दी
इसके.
नहीं.
तो anyways the point is कि मैंने F2 और F3 रेसेस देखने लास्ट ईयर शुरू किए थे. Yes, the sense of speed उतना नहीं है. I get it, understood. लेकिन bro, the close racing that it promo वो देखने में actual में मजा आता है. Like if
Even
you're
Bahrain में भी last lap तक रेस हो रही
yeah
थी like
yeah
बहुत
ब्रो
close, बहुत
गोटे
amazing.
मुंह में थे और ऑनेस्टली गोटे मुंह में थे. बहुत मजा आता है बहुत मजा आता है. इफ यू आर ऑफ कोर्स इफ यू आर ऑन F1 TV, do check out F2 and F3 feature races and the actual races. They're actually good. मैं recommend कर रहा हूँ
Also the
personally.
fact
They're
also the
good.
fact that this year इंडिया के 2 ड्राइवर्स हैं Formula 2 में, कुशमेनी और जिहान दारूवाला. जिहान का लास्ट
Yes,
सीजन है
sir.
बट अगेन 2
I mean, bro,
ड्राइवर्स हैं
that's the
हमारे.
thing. I think F2 the only problem, like SJ ने बता ही दिया कि पैसे लगते उधर और it's tough to bring in money, man. It's really I don't remember Alfa Romeo का रिजर्व ड्राइवर जो है अभी जो फिलहाल रिजर्व ड्राइवर है.
Theo
I don't
Porcher.
remember. Yeah, Theo
Theo
Porcher. He didn't participate this year in F2. He said कि नहीं पैसा लाना
Yeah.
बहुत टफ है मेरे लिए. तो I think that was a problem. He's like कि there's a lot of money involved and I get it कि these are races, these are the series that you have to participate in order to show your potential for Formula 1. लेकिन it's just man the money problems that a lot of drivers face. It's really tough to get into motorsport. And ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा कि it's just a top tier problem. ये मैं देखा ना bro, मैं वडोदरा में there are actually 2 tracks. ठीक है they're so expensive bro. हम लोग like we save for a whole week and then weekend पे जाके हम लोग एक बार रेस करते बोले हाँ अभी मन भर गया अभी हो गया. Like it's very expensive to get into motorsports. That's an issue which will prevail until I don't know until racing exists क्योंकि it's just very
I
expensive.
don't know ये चीज मैंने शेयर किया था कि नहीं but I was on a visit to Delhi. It's way back in 2019. So I went to both international circuit because relative to every one of you, I'm a bit new to Formula One and all. So I went to BIC and I just wanted to have a tour of the track. So those folks charged me near about मतलब north of $3,000, and they just charged me for the tour and all. And when I saw the Vento Cup car sitting there, so I said, कि, can I take it for a ride? Because I asked कि चालू है कि नहीं है. So they fired up the engine for me, and I just said कि let's take it for a ride then. So they said कि you need a ये test and all. So they patched me up and they did some small tests, and then they gave me the signal to drive. The track is very good, but coming back to the cost, so it cost me nearly $4,000 just to drive that car. So
I
I
mean
can
yeah
feel
it's
how
just
much you feel.
Bro,
racing is
there's a
actually
so
Yeah, it's well
I
known.
am
Yeah, it's very expensive. The
I'm
motorsports.
massively into engines and stuff, right? So me and my dad, we were trying to work on this kart. Like we are trying to make a kart, and ऐसा semi formula student types kart है. So we are trying to make it, but it's just so tough to like buy parts because हमको पूरा starting से बनाना है from the ground up, right? So engine and stuff, it's just so expensive. We are like कि fuck हम लोग 1.5 साल से काम कर रहे हैं and we haven't bought all the parts yet. It's just so tough to acquire them in the first place. So anyways, coming back, fuck हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा deviate हो जाते हैं. Coming back to Jeddah, final points, we are 50 minutes into it, so let's do some final points about Jeddah. Everybody, can you make your own predictions about who's gonna win? Who do you think will be the underdog, and who do you think from the midfield is coming on top? Starting with you, SJ.
Red Bull winning it. Aston Martin or Ferrari second and third.
Okay.
Williams will be surprise package along with Haas, and McLaren are definitely not winning it.
Yeah.
we
Agree.
will be
Vedant.
so mad at you.
Yes, same. Red Bull gonna win. Mercedes for the podium, and De Vries gonna be surprise factor, and I think he's gonna beat his teammate
Bold claims. Wow.
Tsunoda.
De Vries is gonna beat his teammate. Cool. Makes sense. What do you think, Krishan?
Red Bull on top, and I'll go bold here. Sergio Perez may repeat his tactics from 2022 because street tracks and Sergio Checo is a match made in heaven, I must think. So
Nobody
Sergio
can go
Perez,
for a circuit, man. Not like Monaco.
Perez challenging for the win and Red Bull dominating the race. Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston, three on totally equal pace because the Ferrari has lesser downforce than last year. So tire wear and all accounted for. No, these three teams will be fighting for second and third place, and after that there will be Alpine, who are completely on their own if they get their act together. And after that, I'll be saying ki Haas, Alpha, and Williams. These three will be a fight to watch. And Alpha Tauri and McLaren, don't know क्या है वो.
I still think the underdogs would be Bhari Alpha Tauri. They have a good car. Tsunoda needs to prove himself, and he is, by the way, proving himself. So there was a whole duel between him and Gasly during Bahrain, जो I think कहीं cover हुआ नहीं in the live. But I just think कि Tsunoda is really developing his skills now. He's calming down a bit, जो last year तक उसका problem था, and I'm just thinking he's just good. एक और चीज़, ठीक है, I'm gonna make a commitment here. I know this is very far fetched, लेकिन if Alonso wins by any chance गलती से अगर वो फर्स्ट आ गया, मैं कल से एस्टन मार्टिन का टी शर्ट पहन के बैठूंगा इस पॉडकास्ट में पूरे सीजन तक. I just want that guy to win so bad.
I'm already
बेचारा
supporting
बीस-
green.
नहीं, मैं खरीद के पहनूंगा. मैं इधर कमिटमेंट कर रहा हूँ इधर. So I want him to win, of course, लेकिन beating Red Bull is going to be tough. Agreed. Red Bull is really fast. Mercedes and Mercedes and Williams, they're going to perform well because of course high speed circuit Mercedes को फायदा होता है. Williams is already showing signs of getting better. So yeah, that's my prediction. If Alonso wins, भाई फिर तो I am full Alonso fan. I'm पूरा
Getting on the
full
hot
jump ship. Yeah, full jump ship. So cool, everything we have had a good conversation. कहाँ की बातें कर ली हमने. So yeah, that was it. That was all that we needed to talk about the pre-race, and of course pre-race का तो हमने कम ही बात किया. We just talked as fans today. हमने सब बात कर लिया. Hopefully next time we'll be able to talk about more things like motorsport in India is it's an issue. उसका एक पूरा अलग पॉडकास्ट रखेंगे हम लोग ने. थोड़ा टच किया वो भी टॉपिक. सो या इफ़ यू हैवंट सब्सक्राइब्ड येट, डू सब्सक्राइब, लाइक द चैनल, एंड सारे सोशल नीचे सबके इंस्टाग्राम I'll put it in the description and stuff. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. We will see you guys next time, and see ya.
Bye.
बहुत वायरल
ये जा रहा ये
हर्षित नेक्स्ट टाइम से ना ये बोलियो कि ठीक है रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप होगी फिर सब अपना
हाँ
BTS
फिर
करेंगे
अपने अपने
गाना मत।
ये जा रहा है पोस्ट क्रेडिट सीन में ये जा रहा है एक मर्सिडीज फैन वर्सेस फरारी फैन जो अभी जो इधर जो ऐसा हमला हुआ था एक दूसरे पे यार रह गया रिकॉर्ड करना
हमला नहीं हुआ है, ये बस एक पुरानी सिनर्जी है मेरे और एसजी के बीच में।
आई नो दैट पूरा हिस्ट्री पता है मुझे
हमेशा मेरे को बोलते ज्यादा बोलना नहीं और हमेशा मेरा मुंह खुलते ही रहता है।
मैं ऐसा बोला था, बस कर ले भाई, बस कर ले, दूसरों को भी चांस दे दे बोलने का, बस कर ले।
नहीं आई एंजॉयड लेकिन मेरे को मजा आया बिकॉज हियर्स द थिंग क्या है ना कि मर्सिडीज हेटर्स बहुत देखने को मिलते हैं मर्सिडीज फैंस आजकल कम है बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स दे विनिंग
यार क्योंकि DTS बिकॉज ऑफ DTS
नॉट ओनली
हाँ,
टीडीएस यार
also
जो भी
of
जीत रहा है उसके फैंस हमेशा हेटर्स कन्वर्ट होते रहते हैं क्योंकि अभी
Yeah.
रेडबुल नहीं जीत अभी रेडबुल जीत रहा है तो अरे रेडबुल खराब है राइट
Also,
अब
Ajay,
तो है ही ना
to bring this
That's
back,
human.
I'm not a Mercedes fan. I've been a Lewis fan since his McLaren days. मतलब 2012 से जब बटन और वो अलोंसो और वो थे, मैं तब से हैमिल्टन को फॉलो कर रहा हूँ।
देख अभी पॉडकास्ट में बोल दिया मर्सिडीज फैन तो अभी तेरा डायरेक्शन
मैं
वही है
Mercedes
कि तू
supporter।
मर्सिडीज फैन नहीं हो गया
Mercedes supporter, but
हो
okay.
गया
I
हो गया,
like that.
पॉडकास्ट में अनाउंस कर दिया है।
whenever you're coming on the
इधर बुलाया
podcast next time you're Mercedes fan अभी
करेक्ट,
I
ब्लैक
like
वाला
it.
टी-शर्ट पहन के आना।
फोर्सफुली फैंडम क्रिएट
चलो
कर रहे
मैं
हैं
तो
उसका
ब्लू टी
हाँ।
शर्ट पहन के आया था, अच्छा हो गया।
मतलब मैं रेसिंग फैन हूँ। I want closer racing.
ये है ना अभी
बार-बार
मर्सिडीज
invite
ये है
करेंगे।
डिप्लोमेटिक आंसर है मर्सिडीज का मैं तो रेसिंग फैन हूँ ठीक है जीत रही
ये
Anyways,
टोटो
चलो।
वोल्फ का शागिर्द है।
अरे
तो-
बाप रे।